hold on, I forgot how to stream. Oh, what an honor. Boom at that gaming. You're taking very precious time, right? Hey, Moomy, where have you been? You haven't been here the last day I've been streaming. You have been missing in action. Merci, 35 kilos de WQ. Je crois que la première fois que j'ai vu ça, j'ai eu la même réaction. Pourquoi c'est si peu? Where are the drops? Hey, Cotton, what's up? Drops. Hey, yo. Let me search. Where are the drops? Thanks for your T1, yo. Where are those drops? Campfire, June. Not this season, no. How long do you have to watch for the drops? 30 minutes, okay. Let me get that. Touching the grass? Are you going back to school, Mumi, already or not? Image. Guy, do you remember this? Je sais pas comment on met les sous-titres en français. Oh, you're going back to school, that's why. Where was Adam Fletcher? I am Mekuna, I'm a sock player. I can introduce myself too. Did he say Mekuna? Where have you been, Emily? You haven't been here the entire season. My drops are on, right? Is it? Core stream? What is a core stream? With who? I forgot to ask Norswa if he wants. Usually he says no. Hello, Korean friend. Affix or affix? I just want to know if the sock is buff or not. That's the only thing that I want to know. Yeah, still play Night Rain for sure. We are killing the new bosses. You can join at some point if you want. We'll probably do a bit before season 9. Gizmo is dead, yeah. That was 99% that it's gone. Sabite Hydra, yes. Eyeliner, thank you so much for your cheap one for 5 months. I'm not used to do it anymore. They buffed the amulet, but they also nerf Hydra, I think. We're gonna lose one Hydra head, I think. Almost sure about that. I don't know who is Astaros. Thanks, Agony. Astaros is a character in Soulcalibur 6, Soulcalibur series for me, and he's a grappler. Can you hear louder like this? I think they are all always very low. Is that okay? Salut Aléa. Yoshimitsu can seppuku. Like this. Let me lower a bit. Okay, like this. I will leave it like this, I think. Unless you need louder. The stream is always very not loud. We don't know if season 9 is good. I will tell you. I always tell the truth when I see stuff, unless I get paid. What's that? I don't know, Pigeon, it just started. The dungeon, yeah, it needs to be challenging first. Be fun. Yeah, Hydra ban. So initially I plan to have my computer for season 9, but UPS, they said otherwise. They don't want to deliver me. They are trying to deliver me for 2 weeks and they can't. It's a disaster, guys. That makes me angry. They have been trying to deliver me for the whole week. I call them every day. Every day they say, oh, we're gonna deliver you tomorrow 100%. The day after, the delivery failed. I call them and they tell me, we don't know why it failed. We're gonna try tomorrow. Yeah. No, I told them to deliver in the relay points, not at my house. I mean, not at in my little flats. I want it to be on the relay points. I think they are just making fun of me. There is no way you cannot deliver someone for 5 days straight. They are coming for the sock illusion from YouTube. Surprising? I mean, people that want surprise, they don't watch Campfire, you know? They don't seem excited. I think they are too tired because they work day and night since the PTR to release the season. They just woke up? They haven't slept, what do you mean? They have been working like so hard for season 9. What do you mean? I'm not trolling. I'm trying to be positive. I've been told that I have be a positive streamer. Needs to be positive. Otherwise, people they don't want to watch like someone negative, you know? There is no place for trolling. News come from PoE2. I would be positive if I was watching the news of PoE2, but the thing is I don't. How can I be positive if I don't even watch it? Just remove the water. No need to think about that. Just remove the water. Lightning Spear? Oh, sorry, Lightning Spear doesn't exist anymore. Sorry, I forgot that you removed Lightning Spear from the game. Sorry, my bad, my bad. I thought you said Lightning Spear, but I forgot that you removed that from the game. It's a Lightning Storm now, guys. No more Lightning Spear. Health Nas, thank you. Rob, just open Rob in the second tab and tell me how happy he is. Like, I can't watch myself. I mean, I can watch, but you would hear him. He doesn't seem so happy. He's not, like, Rob is neutral. Wait, he's not that positive. You've been lying to me. This is Friend of the Borg, right? Wasn't it called Friend of the Borg, something like this? They were spawning in the training room. I think Sork is not nerfed. They're gonna nerf Serpentine aspects. They're gonna nerf 3 Hydra from 2. But they buff the amulets. So I think in the end it's roughly the same. I also think they're gonna fix Hydra enchants. So we're still gonna have 3 heads. What? I totally missed that. What they don't want? I was doing something and I missed what they said, but what they don't want? I mean, okay, guys. As long as it's gone for other class and not the sorcerer, it's fine, okay? But sorcerer needs to keep the perma teleports. We can't hear the video. Oh shit! Wait, YouTube has a problem. How do we do that? Does it work now for YouTube? I'm sorry. Because YouTube has DMCA, so. What does Malzing means? I mean, no, you should hear it on YouTube still. Don't you? Wait, let me check. Oh, shut up. Let me check.
Timer warning. So it plays much tighter now.
Does it
When
work
you
for
enter
YouTube
it,
though?
you should be able to pretty much pick up what's going on. Now, we're not going to tell you how to get those high scores, but the fact that you should be getting a high score should be pretty apparent now. Pillars didn't feel great. You know, you had to stand in one spot for a long time in order to get the bonus. So, you know, we've
What,
made the
Emily,
pillars
you don't like
faster to
this guy?
complete,
What the fuck?
made the radius a bit larger, and now all 4 pillars will also be available at the start. So you can better choose what your path through the Herodic Strong Room is going to be. We also heard from a lot of you that the Strong Rooms really didn't support blasting well enough. And that comes in 2 flavors. It comes in challenge, and then it comes in the fact that Strong Rooms were overstaying their welcome a little bit. So we've added a pit-style death penalty. If you die, that timer is going to get knocked down, and you're going to have less room to earn. We've added additional ambushes as your attunement. We set the activity length to 100 seconds instead of 120 seconds. And also, if you
Yeah,
should
some
hit that
people
max
still play the
attunement,
game.
we're not going to force you
We
to
don't
run
know
out
how
the
many
timer. We're
people,
just going to spawn the
but
boss
some
right
do.
then and there. Now, a number of you also commented on Blood Bishop again. So we hear you. We built out a pool of bosses, mini bosses rather, that should spawn at the end of the strong room. And there's actually going to be a surprise or 2 in that pool as well.
Blood Bishop?
And then finally,
Oh,
there
please not
wasn't enough
Outlaw
incentive, we
Sharpshooter.
thought, for you to actually complete the Nightmare Dungeon after
Not
doing the strong room.
Sharpshooter,
So we've added
please.
a buff. Now, if you remember from the footage, you saw the Grand Heraldric Cache. It actually had a buff symbol above it. And so opening the cache will give you that buff, and you can carry that buff through the end of your Nightmare Dungeon run and get a bonus on the rewards that you'll get there. Now, let's talk about escalating nightmares a little bit. By far, the biggest amount of feedback was, feels pretty rewarding, but way too easy. So we have gone and made it more difficult. We have scaled the difficulty by several pit tiers every floor you advance. So just naturally, things are going to get harder, and you're going to have to push a little bit more and more. We've increased the amount of health and damage for Exalted Astaroth and the Amalgam. We have made some of those existing negative affixes a bit meaner. We've also resurrected and tweaked some of the previous negative affixes that launched with the base game. And finally,
I will delete them
really, we
on
just
Monday
did a whole
night
audit
probably.
on our negative affixes.
But I can
we
log in
created
after
a
the
bunch of
campfire
new
and give
negative
you stuff if you
affixes
want.
as well, including some pretty fun ones, we think. So, yeah, let us know what you think, of course, about the difficulty of that moving forward in any of these, because again, these are permanent updates, and we want to make sure that they, you know,
It starts
really
on
feel good.
Tuesday.
1st Other
July.
things real quick that we did. So we boosted the scalable rewards to match the increase in difficulty. So as things are getting more difficult,
Yo,
we
Boomer
still
Dad,
wanna
I think
make sure
Rob
that the
isn't
rewards are
happy
keeping
about
up,
them
that we
nerfing
don't
the teleport
tip
for
in
the
the other
bomb,
direction.
right?
It was a little hard to notice the gizmo that's on the floor that allows
Gizmo!
you to jump to the next dungeon, so we just opened the portal automatically, which you saw in the
Gizmo,
footage.
let's go!
The escalating sigil didn't stand out enough, so it's got a beam now. It's got its own art, so that feels pretty good. And then finally, we had asked a question during the PTR. You know, do folks want to have to wait until Torment 1 in order to be able to do escalating nightmares? And we heard from you, and you said, no, we don't want to wait. And we agree. So we actually created a pre-Torment version of the escalating sigil. It's not as rewarding because you're not in Torment. And it won't feature the Astaroth boss fight at the end. The Astaroth boss fight, the Exalted version, has been tuned specifically for Torment. So we wanted to make sure that that was preserved. But still, you should get a good sense of escalation pre-Torment if you're lucky enough to encounter one of those
This
as
guy's
you're leveling
name?
up to 60. And
I forgot
that's
also.
it for the list here. Again, please keep giving us feedback. We love to hear from you, and we want to keep improving the game.
Take me back to Season 7,
back
take me
over to
back
you
to
guys
Season
and
4.
everybody.
Fantastic. Thanks for walking us through that, Dan. And yeah, I mean, it's been, we had the PTR early in June, so it's been a while since we had it, but yeah, we received such a ton of great feedback.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, Dan, like, it sounds awesome. Like, the strong rooms are punchier, the escalating nightmares are more nightmarish, and, you know, Dan made a great point too, like, those are going to be permanent additions to both, excuse me, Eternal and Seasonal realms. So we do really want your feedback on that, because it is going to be an iterative and then permanent process, permanent part of the game. So we do want to tweak it where possible and get those in there.
Yeah, it's super important that we get the new Nightmare Dungeon stuff and the escalating nightmares really down well, because we want it to be a repeatable thing that you're doing pretty consistently in your experience. So when you are doing that kind of stuff fairly consistently, it needs to feel like really punchy. It needs to feel really smooth. So it will be a very iterative process. We will be taking a look at more feedback coming in and probably making additional improvements to it over time.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dan will be coming back for Q&A at the end of the stream. So we will be grabbing your questions then. And I did want to call
it's
out,
true that they removed
Matt
the flame
Hayes from
shield
chat
snapshots.
When Dan was going through the Hydric Strong rooms, said, blast me up, Dan. So love to see that. Love to see
Season
that in chat.
2 was good also.
But yeah, in terms of more changes coming down the pipe, probably our biggest, most substantial part of the patch notes is always the balance changes that we have coming in. So Charles Dunn, take us to the promised land. What balance changes do you have
What
for
language
us?
is
Yeah,
that?
I'd love to talk about all the class updates that we did
What
for
should I
Season
roll?
9. And so my section, I'll be talking about some of the new stuff that came in that you may have seen on the PTR, but also talking about some of the adjustments we've made since the PTR. Some of the learnings, some of the feedback we've gotten, and how we've iterated since then. So at a high level, there's a few broader initiatives that we've done that really affect all classes in some ways that we're doing here for Season 9. The first one you probably saw a lot on the PTR was a basic skill buff. Listed about basically every basic skill in the game, and most of them were buffed rather dramatically. Some of them 2 or 3x their damage increase. The impetus here was that we wanted to look kind of comprehensively at the game as a whole, the wider balance, and think, you know, our basic skills really fitting where they should in terms of their overall damage output and how they fit into builds, and really they were just like well behind the curve.
Yeah.
We want them to feel much more impactful, be a bit more, you know, feel better when you first get them, but also be easier to kind of build around as you go and build up your character. we buffed
Yeah,
up
but
the
back in the
baseline
days
versions
it
of a
was
lot of
very
these skills, but we
different.
did
Like the
take a look at
internet,
some of
like
the
the
legendary
game
unique
was
aspects
new.
that
We didn't
interact with
have
them.
that much
Our
content,
goal
and I
wasn't to be
think
like, oh, basic
back then
skill
people
builds,
they
you know,
were
kinda
not
like we saw
as
with Spiritborn and Barb in the past. We didn't
they
want
were
those
not
to be like,
expecting
oh,
as
this
much
is,
as
we're
now.
making them the new meta.
Yeah.
This is more around like rebalancing the whole game as a whole. And we started with basic skills, trying to establish a firm power budget for them. And we're going to be looking and doing these kind of passes on other categories of skills, such as core skills, ultimates, etc., in future seasons. That's going to be like an area of focus for us moving forward. We're just starting here with basic skills.
Yeah, it's like a health pass, really, on basic
I want to
skills,
go
and
to Norway
looks at more categories.
one day.
With the from the PTR, one big thing we noticed was that Pain Gorger's Gauntlets, one of the unique items that really empowers these basic skill builds, was definitely not living up to its billing. It didn't crit or overpower whenever its damage kind of echoed out, and it's supposed to be like a multiplier on your basic skill damage, but really it fell a lot short. So we've made an update so that now Pain Gorger's Gauntlets is going to be able to crit and overpower just like your basic skill damage. So that should definitely be a huge boon to those types of builds.
Yes.
Speaking of overpower, though, overpower was overpowered, and we have done some nerfs to it. For the past few seasons, overpower-based builds have been definitely dominating the top of the meta, and it was definitely crowding out builds that really couldn't utilize that, things like dot-based builds.
The problem is everyone complain about the meta, but when you move, you nerf a meta, there is just another meta that pops, and then people complain about the new meta.
Not to get too in the weeds here, but there's kind of like an additive amount of damage that's based on how much fortified life and maximum life you have built up. We've just removed that completely. We tried an 80% reduction in what it was, and we decided it's still too strong, it's still too complicated, and we just removed that portion. So now when you overpower, you're going to do up to 50% bonus damage, just like a critical strike, but that's kind of going to be the end of the calculation there. We still anticipate, you know, if you really want to, the biggest damage number hits are still going to be when you crit and overpower at the same time, but it's not going to be that you must overpower or else nothing else matters.
Right.
It's just going to be in that same kind of bucket as critical strikes.
Yeah, there's a certain point where something becomes so powerful that occurs, where it's like, if you didn't do that, then nothing else matters. And that starts to kind of erode the whole game experience.
Yes. And finally, we did a pass on all the key passives in the game. Much like the basic skill kind of audit that we did, we looked at all the key passives and really wanted to look at some of the ones that were like outliers. They caused some of our builds that were 10, 100x stronger than other builds. A lot of times that came down to key passives that were scaling or interacting in ways that gave you far more benefit than some other key passives on other classes. And so some of those ones that had kind of that uncapped scaling, we added in caps to make sure that they don't get completely out of control. And ones that were like definitely underperforming, we did some rather substantial buffs to them to help bring them up to kind of parity across the board. So definitely I'll be touched on that a little bit later as we get into individual classes. So let's get on to the individual classes, starting with Barbarian. So our goals for Barbarian this season is definitely a meta refresh on exactly the Barbarian meta. For the past few seasons, we've seen a lot of Earthquakes, a lot of Dust Devils, a lot of the summons being really dominant. And those are cool, but a lot of the Barbarian's core fantasy is around hitting people with weapons. And so we decided, okay, we need to do some nerfs to Earthquakes and some of those other effects that aren't quite as physical, hitting with weapons, and buff up things like Whirlwind and
I told them to not nerf.
Core to Barbarians, base
but I don't think they listen to me.
With that in mind, we also got the new unique item, the Hooves of the Mountain God. Let's take a look at that here. This is the new unique boots item that is going to allow your basic skills, which I just talked about, to cleave. So once you hit maximum fury, you're going to start rapidly draining that fury, and while you're in kind of this draining state, your basic skills are going to cleave and do massively increased damage. And luckily, you're spamming out your basic skills. That is going to restore your fury and is allow you to keep in this state as long as you stay in combat and stay fighting enemies.
Yeah, and what I really love about this specific unique is that typically you try to solve your resource in a build, but with this, you try to stack as much of it as possible, so you can stay in the mountain god state, or whatever you want to call it, as long as possible. Yeah,
and you got to stay in combat, you got to stay hitting people with your basic skills to keep it going. It's really quite powerful, and I think it'll really enable some of those basic skill builds that we were talking about, especially with the updated Pain Gorger's Gauntlets.
Yes.
We've got a clip of this in action. Your Barb walks up to a big old pack of skeletons, hits them with bash, good old bash skill cleaving through the hordes and throwing them against the side of the canyon here. Yes, very good a new unique to enable base skill builds. Not just bash, all of the basic skills will cleave with this. So find out which one works best for you.
Yeah, Frenzy. Can I hear any Frenzy enjoyers?
Yeah, indeed. All right, let's move on to Druid here. So the Druid updates this season were mainly focused around Pulverize as a kind of a main skill that we wanted to look at. I'll get more into that as we talk about the Rotting
It's
Lightbringer
harder
in a
to
moment
make it
and the
harder.
unique
It's
that talks
easier
about
to put a
Pulverize.
cap.
But ever since the PTR, we also realized
I
that
don't
it's
mind
still
them doing
underperforming
that,
the baseline,
so they
we've done
have more
some,
time
buffs to Pulverize
to get us more
raw
endgame
damage
content,
output, as well as refactored some of the upgrades on it just to move around that to better work with the build with Rotting Lightbringer. But it wasn't just that. We also did a variety of other buffs on Druid. We know that Druid has historically, for the past handful of seasons, been probably the worst class in the game, certainly in terms of like representation, how many people are playing it, how late into the end game, how strong they're getting. It's definitely fallen behind the pack.
Yes.
And so with that in mind, we've done buffs to a wide variety of the Druid builds. I can't just say any particular buff. It's a handful of legendaries and uniques and skills that got buffed up just to bring the whole class up a little bit. So let's take a look at that Rotting Lightbringer, that new unique. We did see this on the PTR, but it has been rather substantially reworked since then. We heard a lot of feedback that it wasn't quite as usable, it wasn't as good as it could be. So the new version of Rotting Lightbringer says that if no puddle is around you, then Pulverize is going to form a puddle of poison that guarantees its own overpower and deals a massive amount of its normal damage as poisoning over time.
Yeah, this is really excellent because you can just go around and just make a bunch.
Yes, it is no longer tied. It used to have like a 10-second cooldown, which felt really bad, where you would try to Pulverize and you're like, oh, the cooldown's not up, and then you move to the next pack and it doesn't work. It was very, it didn't work as well as you had hoped.
Yeah.
So with this new update, it should definitely work quite a bit better. And every time you do Pulverize, all of the puddles around you are going to splash some of their damage, because what's better than splashing poison all around? Let's take a look at this new version of Rotting Lightbringer in action. So you run up, you form a puddle, you move
What do
off
you
the
think it's
side,
gonna
you
be
make
for
a second
Hydra? Are they
puddle,
gonna buff
you
it?
can form more than
They're
just
gonna do
two,
something?
And every time that you Pulverize, all of your existing puddles are going to do that little splash of AoE around them and pulse some more damage.
Yeah, so when you're in a room with just a ton of monsters, or like a strong room, for example,
Yeah.
you can just go around and make a bunch and have some fun in the sun. Or not
The
sun, 'cause
fun
I
in the
guess you're
sun. I don't like the
Yeah,
sun.
yeah, it is a
The
nightmare
sun
dungeon.
and the poison comes with you.
Yeah, oh, how nice. Wonderful.
Okay, let's move on to the Necromancer here. The Necromancer, similar to Druid, had a variety of buffs, specifically to Golem builds, Bone builds, and Shadow builds. Some of these builds were definitely falling behind the rest of the pack on Necromancer and compared to other classes in the game. So we've done a handful of buffs to those builds since the PTR to bring them up and really help to make them a bit more competitive. Two of the outliers on Necromancer from last season were Soul Rift and Bloodwave, two of their ultimate skills that just were, Soul Rift in particular just did way too much for any one skill. Obviously it dealt damage, but then it gave you a barrier, it gave you resource, it gave you damage, increased all of your other damage output, refilled your potions, and feared enemies. So that's a lot of things for one skill to do. And we love ultimates doing a lot, but that was kind of one thing too many.
Yeah.
So on this season, we've removed the barrier generation from Soul Rift. And so if you want to get really tanky as a Necromancer, you're going to have to look for some alternate sources to make yourself a little tankier, alternate barrier sources as well.
Yeah, we want to give you all the tools you need to solve your problems, but we don't want you to solve all your problems through one of your tools.
Right. Yeah, Soul Rift was just doing a little bit too much for that. And that's why it was, kind of so dominant, so popular.
Shaco kind of solve
Bloodwave,
every
another
problem.
ultimate skill as well.
It
That
gives
just
you
did
lives, it
a
gives you
ton of
armor, it
damage.
gives you
Its damage
cooldown.
output was exceptionally high.
Yes.
I think part of that was due to the overpower being so overpowered, and so some of the nerfs there would probably bring that down to size. So we expect Bloodwave to hopefully not be the absolute dominant way of playing Necromancer, and we hope that some of those other builds like Golem, Bone, and Shadow have a few other ways of playing. We've also got the new unique, the Hand of Nas. This is a pretty cool new way of playing the class, specifically Minion Necromancer. Let's take a look. So the Hand of Nas gives you more skeleton mages. So if you go all in on your mages, you sacrifice your warriors, you sacrifice your golems, you can now summon additional mages for each minion that you sacrificed. So you can have far more mages than before.
Yes.
And you know, just like any good you know, RPG, your skeleton mages can get experience and level up.
Yeah,
So
let's go.
they attack 25 times, then they get to level up to a skeleton archmage. And when they're in the archmage form, they are harder to kill. They're going to teleport around to safety if they get attacked, and their attacks are going to occasionally shatter and deal bonus damage to the target and nearby enemies. We can take a look at this in action. You know, you've got your big old back line of a ton of mages. You won't have your skeleton warriors. You won't have your golem if you really want to maximize your mages. So that really puts you, the Necromancer, as kind of being the front line.
Slam unique, I think it's just mythic unique, which is kind of normal.
The traditional minion necro on its head a bit, whereas your minions are often the front line for you. And then you pump out the damage. In this kind of build, you're going to be.
Isn't everyone on PoE 2 right now playing Lightning Spear?
DPS from the back line.
Yeah, really, this makes it so you have a college of mages, one could say. And mages aren't the greatest at tanking, so, you know, you got to figure that out yourself.
All right, we've got the Rogue.
That's the
up
top
next.
build I've seen.
So the Rogue, we did some updates to
And they
Death
have the
Trap
same
and
Lightning
Shadow
Spear for
Clone
every
in the
class.
season. So much like Necromancer, where they had a couple of ultimate skills that were really dominant in the meta, specifically Death Trap and Shadow Clone on the Rogue. Death Trap was kind of like Soul Rift in a lot of ways, where it did a little bit too much of everything, did pull in, did damage, other damage increases. And the big problem with that from like a balance standpoint was that it was very easy to be able to just hold down the Death Trap button and spam cast it.
Yeah.
That was due to a number of effects interacting to give you cooldown reduction on it and reset its cooldown, including whenever you overpowered or killed an enemy with it. It would help tick off some of that cooldown reduction. We've removed that functionality, so it's a little bit harder to get to that full zero cooldown Death Trap. If you are still really building your character out, you'll still be able to get there. It'll just be a little bit harder of a journey, similar to the philosophy on Soul Rift. We want you to be able to solve these problems, but it was a little too easy to do it on Death Trap and really short-circuited the progression cycle of building up your character and feeling that growth and that strength. Shadow Clone was doing a ton of damage, much like a Bloodwave, and it kind of went a little bit against the fantasy of, you know, your Shadow Clone should be augmenting your strength, and it should be kind of mirroring your damage output. What, in reality, based on what it was doing, was like you did a little bit of damage, and the Shadow Clone dealt a ton of damage.
Yeah, it felt more like you were the Shadow Clone.
Yes, it did feel like that.
Well, the thing is, PoE don't have the pits. I think if you get the pits in PoE 2, you can see like the difference between the builds.
It is a cutthroat skill.
There is no way to tell how many times stronger is a build right now.
It basically allowed
If Diablo 4 has only T4, you could make any build, make it work too.
Baseline, there is a kind of damage penalty on the Shadow Clone, and we've kind of increased that so it doesn't deal quite as much percentage damage, but is still a good modifier to your damage output. And we've also added some damage reduction component to it. So the Shadow Clone kind of takes some of the hits for you, right? Takes you know, some of your damage and gives you that damage reduction instead. We talked about key passive earlier. Victimize is a key passive on Rogue that, while we have reworked, it was one of those ones that was either like super weak or super strong, depending on the precise tuning. And it really was struggled to get that into to balance it well against other options. Right. And so we've done a rework here where it's damaging vulnerable enemies is going to cause them to do a burst of damage, but then you also deal multiplicative increased damage to those targets after you burst, you trigger that victimize effect on them. And we think this will get it to a much healthier state where it's like more consistently useful rather than all or nothing. And the new unique for Rogue this season is the Death Mask of Nirmatruk. And this one,
well, the event on PoE 2 is just racing though. Like the first to do something, like first to Lilies, so first to T4.
Mask, you can now overexert yourself while casting Flurry. And what does that mean? That is a new term to Diablo 4. It means that if you don't have enough energy, you're going to spend life instead to cast your Flurry. And when you do spend life to cast Flurry, it's going to increase its damage and your attack speed rather substantially for a period of time. So you do get to go real fast, attack real quick, but be warned, the faster you attack without any energy, the more life you're spending, the closer to death you're going to get.
It's called a death mask for a reason.
Right, we've got a clip of this in action. So you are running through, you are dashing to enemies around, and casting Flurry super fast, even when you are out of energy, and now your life total is going to start draining the more flurries you cast.
I never get tired of this clip. It's perfect.
It's so ludicrous.
It is a great clip. You know, really embodies that like fast, stabby, frantic style that rogues are known for.
Yeah.
And definitely, I love how this like turns your build crafting options on its head. Typically, you want to get, oh, give me tons of resource generation. But you don't necessarily want that here, right? You want to be on low resource so that you can trigger the spending life. Because this effect basically does nothing if you're not spending life. And for all those hardcore
Merci,
players out
people.
there, be very warned that this one, it won't actually kill you, but it can bring you down to about 8% life, at which point pretty much anything else will kill you.
It will certainly help you die.
I might play PoE with you,
we were
but
talking
there
about
is
running
no
this on
way
hardcore
that
for
I
the
play
season,
PoE
I was.
1. Like, literally
I
no
might
way.
Be a little crazy.
All right, let's move on to the Sorceress. So the Sorceress, we've got updates here to Lightning Spear was one of the big ones. Lightning Spear had been kind of dominating the Sorceress meta for quite a while.
Why did you
was,
remove
like,
it from the
really
game?
The premier build for a long time. And this had a really interesting situation where out of the box, Lightning Spear was kind of terrible, right?
Yeah.
You look at this skill and you're like, okay, how much damage does it do? How many enemies does it hit? What's its cooldown? And you're like, oh, this is awful. Like, it doesn't do anything. And then you get Splintering Energy, the legendary aspect, and suddenly it goes from nothing to best skill in the game.
Yeah, and we don't want skills out of the box to feel useless. We
Right.
want them to feel powerful and good. And we also don't want aspects to have to carry that much weight on their
Yeah.
shoulders. It's not good for either the base skill or the aspect.
So in this season, we've buffed up
Remove
the base
Lightning
values
Spear.
of Lightning Spear rather substantially. I think it was
No,
like,
you guys
4 or
remove
5
Lightning Spear from
times
the
increased
game.
Damage, but we've
You
looked
made
at,
Lightning
the
Spear
Splintering
from
Energy
irrelevance,
legendary and brought that down
then
rather
you make it
substantially. To be
useful,
clear here, our
and then
goal
you
is
make it
still that Lightning
irrelevant
Spear, We
again.
do not want it to be the best way of playing Sorceress. It has had its time in the
Thank
sun
you,
for a few
Ashley.
seasons now. It's really been, I think it's time for some other options to rise up and be like some of the stronger builds.
Yeah,
on
I
Sorceress.
agree with
We still
that,
want it
but
to
you
be a
didn't
viable way
have
to play. We don't want to
destroy
completely
it.
kill it to nothing, but it shouldn't be the absolute dominant or strongest way to play here, Sorceress, moving forward. To that point, we've updated Icefall and Firestarter. Icefall is a legendary Paragon
fuck is
node that works
Firestarter?
with your Frost skills. Those cold skills are going to do quite a bit more damage with this. So just some numerical buffs there. And the Firestarter, that's a legendary aspect that works with your flame skills. You know, the
What is
other
that?
2 builds outside of Lightning on Sorceress. Firestarter previously just did kind of a chunk of moderate fire damage, but wasn't anything special. Now it also gives you multiplicative fire damage, which is really good if you are picking, say, the Fire Infusion Catalyst for your Heraldic Spellcraft.
Oh, true. Or some crazy new unique that might be making its way into the
Yeah, a crazy unique like the Ophidian Iris.
Oh, whoa.
Let's take a look at the Ophidian Iris. This is the new unique amulet that works with your Hydra skill.
Whoa,
it makes
whoa,
Hydra
whoa,
into a
whoa,
core
whoa, whoa.
skill, and it's always
Isn't it
going to
plus
summon
4?
a 3-headed Hydra.
On
and those
DA,
Hydra's
it's
attacks
plus 3, it's
explode
not
on
plus
impact.
4.
Now, previously, you could
I
build
don't
up
actually
effects that
remember.
gave you more heads to your Hydra, and for every head above 3
Wasn't
that
it
your
plus
Hydra would have
4
had,
on Winter
instead
Glass?
it
Is
grows
it-
in
oh, it's
size
plus 3.
and deals multiplicatively more damage.
It goes to
We
plus
tested this out
10.
on the PTR, and one of the big points of feedback was that there's kind of 2 ways of building Hydra. You can build with more crit focus, like crit and fire, or more burning damage focus.
Yeah.
And previously, the affixes on the Ophidian Iris really tried to force you into the critical strike version of the build. And we've updated them here, so we removed that critical strike chance and added attack
7?
speed,
What?
which is good for both. And
thought it was
changed
plus
the ranks of the
10.
passive over to primordial
Why
binding,
Winter Glass
which
is
once
plus
again
10
good
and
for
this
both,
one is
rather
plus
than,
7?
giving you the critical strike pyromancy effect. Just being a bit more generic and allow you to play it whichever way you like and kind of equally support it. Let's take a look at this clip of the before and after in this terms of size. So on the left, you got your little piddly normal-sized Hydra. If you build up a whole bunch of bonus Hydra heads, you get the big boy Hydras on the right, whose attacks explode
The
on
big
impact.
boy.
Obviously, they deal a ton
What
more
about
damage.
the
They kill
girls?
the enemies much faster, and it just looks a lot bigger and a lot more visually impressive.
They are absolute units.
They really are. You get to become a Hydra parent. And also, honestly, I've never felt bad for a Khazra test dummy before, but I feel kind of bad for this guy.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to playing with this one
Yes.
next season.
Yeah, this will be. This is exactly what I'll be running for season 9, Charles.
That's sweet. All right, let's move on to the final class,
What? That's
Spiritborn.
it?
So for Spiritborn this season, we've looked
That's
at
it for the
updating
sock?
the Razor Wings build.
They,
That's a
basically, they
build
just
that,
say we
has had
destroy
some
lightning
support, but
spear,
never really quite got there.
and
We've
we
made some
change Hydra
adjustments to
amulet.
some of
Bye.
the legendaries and that affect that build to really help bring it up and make it a bit more robustly supported. I want to talk a little bit about the Hunter. That's the Jaguar ultimate skill. We tested a change on the PTR where we so currently on season 8. And ever since its launch, it
Ew,
had this mechanic
what
where
did
if
it
you
to my
kill
sock?
an enemy while the hunter is
I don't
active,
like
it
it.
has a chance to reset its cooldown completely. So if you get lucky and you get a lot of kills, you can kind of spam cast Hunter until you, until you miss, basically.
Right.
We tested out a change on the PTR where instead of doing that, it would just give a more consistent amount of cooldown reduction. And this was, we heard loud and clear that that is not fun. It was really not what you wanted. Players really liked that kind of feast or famine version of Hunter, where it had that gameplay texture of constantly resetting and that mini game of making sure you maximize the number of kills for the short duration that it's active.
Yeah, it had really it evolved into like a core part of the spirit of the Jaguar, and we don't want to have to take that away.
Right. So this is one of the great things about testing these types of changes on PTR is that we're allowed to make these bit like more dramatic changes, and then if they don't work out, we'll revert them. And so in this case, we decided to revert those changes back to what it was before. Now, for context, the reason we tried to do that change in the first place was that the Hunter was by far the most popular ultimate skill on Spiritborn. I think something like 90+% of Spiritborn players were using the Hunter. And that's not really healthy for build diversity. And we thought, okay, if we adjust its cooldown mechanic, that will be what we need to change. So instead, we looked at some numerical adjustments to it, so it doesn't have quite as many bonuses whenever it does function, but it still functions the same as before.
Yeah.
And in order to promote a bit more diversity, we've buffed up the other ultimate skill options. The other 3 Spirit Guardians now will give you other ways of giving multiplicative damage whenever you have them active. The Devourer will give you multiplicative poison damage. The Gorilla Ultimate, the Protector, will give you bonus damage while you stand in his area that he's pounding down on, gives you that area of power. And the Seeker, the Eagle Ultimate, will give you guaranteed critical strikes while it's active.
Awesome.
Awesome.
And finally, we've got the new unique item, a Balazan's Max Latel. We've got.
Oh, we got the patch
I've been working
notes.
on that.
It's okay.
Nice.
So good.
Been working on that one. Nailed it. All right, so Balazan's Max Latel. We've got. Let's take a look at that. This is the new Pants unique. It triggers when you attack enemies who are close, it'll trigger your Thorns damage as poisoning damage. So it's like poison and Thorns combination here. And every time that you've retaliated with Thorns, so you've gotten hit recently, then that poisoning damage is going to increase.
I really love this unique because it speaks to the spirit of Thorns, which is like, I must be hit and then I retaliate.
Right.
But like expands on that, which is really cool.
Yeah, and it gives you more consistent value. Like if you're not getting hit, your Thorns was worthless. Now you building up Thorns is still positive offensive value, even if you're not getting hit. But of course, getting hit and triggering those Thorns is going to get you even stronger. On the PTR, this was definitely very powerful.
Very powerful.
Very, very strong. We did adjust its numbers down quite substantially. The percentage of Thorns converted has been reduced. We still expect this to be a very powerful build, but it's gotten brought down a notch or two because it was by far the most powerful build that we saw on the PTR.
Yeah.
All right, we've got a clip of this in action here. Right, so you're standing in the middle, you're getting hit, you're clicking your defensive skills so that you can survive, and then once you get hit and stack that up, you can go around and apply bonus poisoning Thorns damage to all the enemies around you.
Those idiots. Why are they even hitting you?
I don't know. All right, and so that covers all of the class updates. Once again, make sure you check out the patch notes after the live stream here. Check out the blog. It's got all of the details. I kind of glossed over some of them because there's so many details to go into.
That's a lot.
Go and check those out for all of the very specific changes that we're making come Season 9. And can't wait for you to see, to try out all of these new effects.
Woo! Thank you for that, Charles. Take a bow. Yeah, the patch notes are absolutely massive this season. They won't be hitting in all languages following the stream. We're looking to have those published just prior to the start of the season on July 1st. So some languages will be available, but expect most of them towards the start of the season because the patch notes are absolutely massive. So like Charles said, dive into them, get those changes, and Charles, can we get that Spiritborn unique name one more time?
Balazan's Max Latel.
Balazan's Max Latel. Heard it here first. The man's a pro. The man's a pro. So as we've gone through the stream, we've got all these great components from Season 9 coming through. We've got the Project Strong Rooms, we've got Escalating Nightmares, we have all these excellent balance changes and class updates coming in. So it feels like we've got this nice cake, and we just need a little bit of frosting and some sprinkles just to finish it off. So I know, Aislinn, you've got some nice little tidbits to get into towards the end in terms of system updates. So what can we look forward to in Season 9?
Yeah, so not only have we done all these awesome, specific Season 9 things, we've also done our best to improve the game eternally or in an evergreen fashion or permanently, however you want to say it. So yeah, a big thing that we learned from Season 8 is that we really like it when we feel like we have different ways we can play the season. So in Season 8 specifically, you went into the Apparition Incursions, and it sometimes ended up feeling while you were leveling like you had to do it a bit more than you actually wanted to. Like you'd rather go do some other things. And so the way we want to change that in Season 9 and going forward forever is elites and bosses are now going to grant seasonal reputation regardless of what the season is. It doesn't matter what the season theme is. You can always make progress towards reputation by killing those strong enemies. So that should make it so it doesn't matter if you're going to the seasonal activity, you're still going to make progress. The seasonal activity or whatever exists
channel
in the
lighting
season
is
will
with
still be a
element and
really
such.
fantastic source of that specific
Because
seasonal,
it's bugged.
power and rep and currency and what have you. But
I'm
we want
gonna
you to
play
feel like
Hydra
you can
from
just
level
take some
0,
detours and explore the game at your own
Paragon
pace and in your own
200
way,
probably.
and the season still recognizes that. And similarly, we had Layer Hordes grant seasonal currency in Season 8 specifically because it was the season of bosses, but we decided to just keep that going forward because basically all roads lead to layer bosses now. Like you're going to find layer keys by doing a variety of activities. And so it felt like a very ubiquitous place for us to imbue seasonal currency into the game as well. And this isn't to say, this isn't an exhaustive list, right? Oh, I got to wave over here. This isn't an exhaustive list. You are still going to be earning extra seasonal reputation and seasonal currency from doing seasonal specific stuff too. So it should just be a much larger pool of ways to play. But yeah, so with that said, let's jump into some of the permanent details or permanent changes and details of the Nightmare Dungeon and Escalation Nightmare systems. So Dan already went over this quite a bit, but I wanted to just talk a little bit more about the why and the how of this all. So we added a bunch of new affixes, positive affixes to Nightmare Dungeons. And the reason why we wanted to do this is because we wanted to make sure that when you're sifting through your different Nightmare Dungeons, it feels like you have different options for how you can make progress for your economy. So you'll notice that these blue affixes, like the Heraldric Materials Reserve,
What does
Gem
that
Reserve,
200?
Gold Reserve, they're pretty self-explanatory. If you go into those dungeons, you are going to get more materials from the chests.
I guess it's
that
summer
appear,
vacation.
or more gems, or more gold. And there's quite a few of these different positive affixes. And the big impetus behind this is we really wanted you to be able to.
The thing is,
sift through
spamming
your
boss is the
Nightmare
best thing
Dungeons,
to do anyway.
find
What
the
else
gap
do you
in
want
what
to
you're
do?
currently,
Spamming boss give you
looking for.
unique,
Like,
give you
for
mythic
example, if you
unique,
wanna craft a Heraldric
and
tool and you need gem
you can sell
fragments,
the
go
unique,
find the
you can
Heraldric
solve
Gem
your
Reserve
gold
Nightmare
problem,
Dungeons and run a
like...
bunch of them. And
It's really the
so
best
hopefully
way
this
for
is like a
everything to
tool
do
that
the
you guys can
bosses.
utilize and really patch up those problems. And secondarily, we also know that if players are going to be going into Nightmare Dungeons much more frequently going forward, that there should probably be a lot of replayability and variety in the negative affix experience too, so it kind of feels a little different and cool. So we really took our time. We kind of rebranded, rethemed a bunch of the affixes. We added a bunch of new ones, like Dark Omen is specifically an entirely new one. So be careful going into one of those dungeons. And we also added many more of the potential elite affix, the elite affixes that can appear on Nightmare Dungeons.
While
like,
maps from
Waller,
PoE are
Vampiric
boring.
is another one. And this is all just,
I already
again,
said it,
to
I
make
wouldn't
Nightmare
like it on
Dungeons
Diablo.
feel like there's more variety as you're playing through all of them. Awesome. So yeah, I think we can go forward here and check out what a actual Heraldric Reserve looks like. Just as a PSA, so if you go in and you're chomping through a Nightmare Dungeon, that's what a Heraldric Reserve will look like. So there will be a
What
bunch of those
PSA
throughout a
means?
Nightmare Dungeon. Make sure to open all those to get your nifty new positive affix rewards. And then on top of that, of course,
Guaranteed
we have
the
new
mythic
permanent
unique.
addition, the escalating sigils, which are just Nightmare Dungeons, but even
There is no
punchier.
way that we don't one-shot the
so,
boss.
As
If we
Dan was
don't
saying,
one-shot
we
the
made it
boss,
so you're getting even more
Casual will
rewards
never
from
be
these
able to
things
kill
as
it.
you're escalating They're going to raise in difficulty as you go through
Public
each
service
escalation, which I would like to
announcement.
point out
Okay,
does
fine.
mean that you
Good
can
to know.
surpass Torment 4 with these now, which can get very terrifying. And there's also unique affixes that can only appear on escalating sigils. And here we have the actual Astaroth affix, or
I
rather
think
the
if the
Astaroth,
blaster are
list of
struggling to
affixes
do
that we're gonna
something,
be
the
dealing
casual
with
will
when we fight
never
Astaroth.
do it.
So Dan kind of alluded to this, but we can see that one of the negative affixes here is Meteor Storm. That's an Astaroth specific affix, and that actually changes the way the Astaroth fight works. And there are quite a few of these. So every time you go in and fight Astaroth, it's going to feel a little different. There's going to be different challenges you have to face. And there's also going to be a lot of really fantastic rewards that he drops too. Like, for example, the Riches of Keys gives you, I think, like Infernal Compasses and Undercity Tributes. And Lord Zier's Offering gives you quite a few keys to go and fight Lord Zier. And, you know, it's all modular, it's all randomized, and it's a lot. It's a lot of rewards, which is great. But it's a lot harder too, which is also fun. But yeah, so that's the overall on these Nightmare Dungeon and Escalating Sigil things. And I just want to say, you know, as one last thing, like I mentioned before,
Blues.
this is something that we want to continuously improve upon because it is such a major new thing. And like, we knew that Nightmare Dungeons needed some love, and we're really happy we got the opportunity to do that here. And we want to continue to foster and cultivate the system going forward. So please, any more feedback you have, shoot it our way. All right, and with all that said, let's move on to some more general quality of life updates to the game as a whole. So first of all, here we have the legendary item drop updates. So typically in Diablo 4, what we've done is when you go up in Torment tiers, you find more items, but we've decided to make it so you also find a higher quality of items when you go up in Torment tiers as well. This means that as you go from Torment 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, you are going to find more ancestral items and thus also more greater affixes. We wanted to do this because we were finding that people on higher Torment tiers, as characters were getting to 2 and 3, etc., the loot wasn't quite keeping up with the state their character was in and what they expected to receive. And so we're trying this out, and you know, let us know what you think. And I just wanted to do a quick call out that this also applies to lair bosses. Like, it applies to everything, but I wanted to specifically call out that it applies to lair bosses, which is great because now we're going to be finding more ancestral versions of lair boss unique items too. All right. Let's move on to the resource economy. There's quite a few of these here. So first of all, we saw that people were not finding as many legendary runes as they would like. It
Hey,
felt too
Darky.
sluggish to get through that.
We are
journey.
just waiting
So
for some
we've
news.
kind of done quite a few
Increased
changes to
legendary
that overall.
drops.
Now the Tribute of Harmony, which is specifically the tribute that grants quite a few runes, will grant even more.
We
and
need
higher
the
quality runes.
refinement
All
one.
Undercity tributes, not just the Tribute of Harmony, will also grant runes. So if you're finding yourself light on runes, going to Undercity is typically a really good place. And then finally, we also increased the quality chance, the chance for legendary runes to drop from fighting lair bosses and their lair boss horde too. So just kind of all throughout the game, that's just a bit better. We've made quite a few improvements to whisper caches. So like the gold cache is much more lucrative. The material cache is more lucrative. The gem caches are more lucrative. A lot of ancillary stuff just feels better and are better choices than they used to be. We want to make sure that when you're actually looking at the potential whisper caches, that each of them feels like it would actually make a difference. And so that's the big impetus there. We have made our jewelers across Sanctuary adopt more business-friendly practices. Their cash is no longer quite as ludicrously expensive, and it also drops significantly more rings and amulets. So they're a little bit nicer now. And then Infernal Hordes also is going to be dropping more gems. And then finally, something we wanted to add here is there's going to be increased drop rate for Scrolls of Escape, specifically
What is
in
Scrolls of
Hardcore.
Escape?
We found that you weren't getting quite as many as we would like you to in that mode. And so we want to make sure that you have just enough to, you know, go and test yourself against those really challenging lair boss fights when you feel like your build is ready.
Hardcore? What the fuck is that?
All right, and let's dive
Never heard of it.
some.
I heard some
into our next
haters
slide
from
here.
Hardcore sometime on X and Twitter.
So
They're like, oh,
this
it's
is
not
just to
hardcore, it
go
doesn't count.
over
Yeah, good.
Basically, this is a lot of information. So let's just talk briefly about what is permanent and what is exclusive to Season 9, just kind of as a recap. So, permanent to both the Eternal and Seasonal realms, now and forever, we have the Nightmare Dungeon updates. So you are going to be finding Heraldric Strong Rooms on both the Eternal and the Seasonal realms. You're going to be able to go into escalating nightmares in both. You're going to find all these new Nightmare Dungeon affixes and escalating nightmare affixes permanently in the game. And of course, all the new uniques for each class are permanent. And then exclusive to Season 9 is the quest line exploring the sins of the Herodrum. The Heraldric Spellcraft, you know, the catalysts and the infusions and the arcana, the Heraldric Jewels, and then, of course, the seasonal reputation board and the rewards from that are exclusive to Season 9. All right, so that about wraps it up for the Evergreen updates here for Season 9.
Evergreen? What does that mean? I don't understand so many things.
And kind of our thoughts and our culture on PTR. So we already kind of went over the systems updates that were changed since PTR. I'll go over them again very briefly.
I need to get more English
so
lesson.
Lair bosses now have an increased chance to drop legendary runes. There's a increased drop rate to Scrolls of Escape in Hardcore, and there was the massive pass on all things Nightmare Dungeon to improve the tuning and make affixes meaner and stuff like that. But I just wanted to take a moment to say that the PTR for us as a team is just amazing. We really cannot stress this enough. Like, when the PTR goes live and you guys start talking about the game, the air in the office is electrifying. We're all so excited to see what you guys have to say, and we're just, you know, we're running around, we're talking to each other, we're like, oh, like, this is, did you see this? Like, maybe we should change this, or, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just great. It's great for the vibes. It's great for the game. And just a heartfelt thank you from us to you for helping us make Diablo as good as it can possibly be.
Yeah, we absolutely love reading all the feedback, watching videos that people post, or you know, posting online on social media or other places for feedback on our forums. It's really amazing to see players like trying out the new stuff and giving feedback on what's working, what's not. And then we really do listen and adjust based on that. We try to find the best ways of delivering a really high quality experience every season. And the PTR is really instrumental for us to be able to do that.
It absolutely is. And like, this season was wild for PTR updates. We made so many changes, and it was just super helpful to hear everything you guys had to say.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Like, being able to have players jump in, test the content, also gives us such a better feel for how things are going to go in season launch. So then we know we can take a confident step forward, knowing that our players who, you know, are just diehard Diablo 4 fans have given us their greatest feedback. And then when the season launches on July 1st, we now know that we already have all these problems addressed, bugs that are taken care of, and even just like, you know, in terms of like bugs or challenging or the unique that got entirely overhauled. We now have that chance to make those changes ahead of time. So yeah, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for jumping in and testing and giving us all your feedback. Because
please make it easier to get 2 or 3 GA items.
A whole lot better. So thank you for that. And that brings us closer to the end of our show. We've got some excellent Q&A lined up for you. So we're going to bring Dan back from Albany. And we do have a few questions lined up. The first thing that we do want to ask our devs here is, for the Heraldric Spellcraft, are those powers account bound? Are they partition bound? Or do you need to level them up specifically for each alt?
Yeah, so they're going to be partition bound. So on, for example, seasonal softcore, if you make a new character, you'll have all your progress from your previous seasonal softcore character. So it's partition bound. If you make a new seasonal hardcore character, you would have to find the new Heraldric Spellcraft, but then any future seasonal hardcore character you make would have access to that same progression.
Awesome, nice. Okay, we've got our first question coming in from the Sanctuary Discord. Getty asks, how does the team currently feel about boss design? Are invulnerable phases something you're looking to continue with in future bosses? And that's an interesting one because the Astaroth fight that just came back does have some interesting mechanics that aren't quite invulnerability, but it's more of like a segmented phase. So.
Yeah, so that's something that we've been talking about a lot internally, you know, with the new changes to the layer bosses. I think it's something that we, sometimes it's important, like it's cool for like the vibes of the fight if a boss has an invulnerability phase. But we also recognize that like, once you get to a point where you feel like you can beat a boss, sometimes the invulnerability phase can feel like an obstacle, potentially an unwanted obstacle.
Yes.
And so the team has definitely been exploring some ways that we can create that similar feeling without necessarily putting a hard stop on a fight.
Yeah, there's definitely some examples even already in the game where it's like, hey, if you're able to kind of beat a DPS check. And
Do
you're
you
able
know
to
that
the
to
boss,
get
like,
the new
down to a certain
Hydra
amount or
amulet
kill
before
it
you can
before
kill
the phase,
Belial?
then you're
It's
able
gonna
to
be
do
the
that. That's
free,
definitely one
most
good example that
hardest,
we're definitely,
boring boss
looking
in the
at,
world.
kind of replicating.
It's
some
gonna be
other,
the dog,
boss
Juriel,
fights.
and Dalian. Like, I wanna kill myself already.
Okay.
Like, I'm sorry,
Charmed
but
Chaos. Does the strong room time count against the
I would
dungeon's
rather kill
completion
Belial
time,
in
or are they
T1 than
separate?
killing one of these three boss. Oh,
Dan, you want to take that one?
How do you choose
I'm
between
thinking
Juriel
about
and
this right
Dalian
now,
and the
I'm
dog?
not
How?
entirely certain. My guess is that it does count towards the dungeon completion time, but yeah, I think we're gonna have to, go back.
You
to
can
the
get it
team
on
and
Belial, but you don't have
post
the
an update
husk.
online about that.
And there's not gonna be dupe in Season
Yes,
9.
it's a philosophical question.
Maybe
of,
there's gonna be, but
is the strong room its
let's
own
say
realm? Like, are
we
you,
don't have dupe.
Yeah.
We are
applying
cooked.
the logic of where
Literally,
you
we
are
are
in the dungeon,
cooked.
or I mean, you do
We're gonna
blast
spend
through pretty quick,
hours and
which is
hours to
good.
farm Juriel
But
and
then,
Daliel
yeah,
and
you
the
may take your time
dog.
leaving it or going back in to find some more goodies. So yeah, that's an excellent question. I've got another one from Why So Blue Panda Bear. Don't be sad.
Hell
Panda Bear.
Titan, I feel.
At Diablo, do we still get Obdicite in these escalation nightmare dungeon runs?
Oh, yeah, you do. There's also even some, or not some, there is an affix that increases the amount of Obdicite you get. And again, also the escalating nightmare dungeon runs scale. So or scale with rewards, excuse me, and difficulty. But as you go up and up and up, you just get more Obdicite and the affixes become better. So if you find,
Man, I need
like,
to think
the
about the
extra
Hydra
Obdicite affix
build.
later on,
Wow.
it's like showering Obdicite. It's a lot.
That's unreal. That's absolutely unreal. This one's for you. Might be for Aislinn. The Bird King. Has anything been confirmed about GA or general greater affix rates going up at higher torment tiers?
Oh, yeah. So that slide we had talking about the increased quality per torment, they will be going up, yes. You're going to be finding more ancestral items, and so consequentially, you're going to be finding more greater affix items and items with more greater affixes as well.
Unreal. Thank you for that, Aislinn. Scream Hard. At Diablo, question for Q&A. Will we start to see seasonal power systems incorporated into the base game? There have been several that I was fond of that could add depth.
Yeah, I can talk a bit about that. Obviously, every season when we make some of these powers, like the Heraldic Spellcraft or the Witchcraft powers and the boss powers in the past, they were exclusive to that season.
Yep.
That being said, we are a team with a bunch of designers who are always looking for good ideas, and especially good ideas that have proven to work in the game. And so we definitely, when we're looking at making future systems and future improvements to the game, we are absolutely looking at some of the best performing seasonal powers and thinking about how we can integrate that into the game. So it's very likely you'll see some of the
Dankeschön, die Hermann Miller.
better received and more popular seasonal powers potentially return in the future. But for the time being, they do still exist just in their season. But they are absolutely still on our radar to bring back in other forms and other ways.
What do
for
we
future
play
content.
after the campfire?
Yeah. And I do love, like, I mean,
The
even for
patch note is
season
gonna take me
overall,
5
instead of,
minutes.
having seasonal powers that we have and then look at the favorite ones, like such a massive part of the mechanics of this season are just already going to be permanent and
Like, seriously, the patch note not gonna take me long.
Nice. So
I'm gonna read
Yeah,
3
really
lines
just
and that's gonna be over.
Power systems are really the seasonal parts, and a lot of our focus on seasonal development is plussing up base aspects of the game, like the Nightmare Dungeon system as a whole. We're
Hey,
looking
Neon,
at
thank
making sure
you.
that part of the game is improved and is evergreen. And then a lot of the powers are things that are exclusive for the season, but we are still
What
looking out for
fuck
good
is
designs and
evergreen?
ways of bringing back the popular ones for the future.
hell yeah, absolutely, Charles. Mippy at Diablo, are
Why
the
they keep
escalating
saying these
nightmare
words?
sigils craftable or only droppable? Important question for leveling. I think I might send that one
Retaining
to you, Dan.
freshness or interest. Perennial, universally,
Yeah,
and
that's another
continuously
one I'm not
relevant.
sure about, unfortunately.
So I believe they should only be able to
Yeah.
drop from the Heraldic strong rooms. That's where you'll be finding
Yeah.
escalation sigils.
Right. And I think in
So, I just to the point, if you want to try to be farming them, you can craft Nightmare Sigils, trying to find ones that have the Heraldric Strong Room
Yes.
guaranteed on there.
Oh, it's looking.
And then run the
It's
ones with
looking
Strong Room.
Hydra
So
Sock,
it's a
and
little bit,
it's
you can't
looking like
maybe
Season
craft them
8
directly,
with
but you
new
can
power
craft
and
ways of
everything
farming.
nerfs.
You can definitely go out of your
Something
way to
like
find
this, I
Heraldric
would say.
Strong Rooms, which then
Right.
brings you to escalation
Done.
nightmares.
Yeah, and if you're looking for those
Maybe he doesn't-
Nightmare escalation sigils,
He
you're
can't
gonna be
talk,
getting
maybe,
that
I don't
from the
know.
seasonal reputation track. So
He has to
before you
keep
are
it
pre-tournament,
secret.
if you want to play those and get used to them before you actually get to face off against Astaroth in post-tournament levels, you will be getting that from the seasonal reputation track. So look out for those.
Thanks
The
for your
Creeper.
G1, baby.
Ooh.
How do you come up with the names for new uniques? Some of them are really interesting, and some are hard to pronounce.
They use
It's true.
ChatGPT.
Are the names coming from lore, or just, you know, did you find something cool that ended up fitting with the names?
A lot of times they come from lore. A lot of our uniques are handled by our wonderful narrative designers and quest designers who really have a firm grip on the lore and the world building of Sanctuary and all of the characters and factions within there.
When
And
are we
so
gonna get
a
the
lot of them
amulet,
do
the
come from
Mara?
that. Some of them are a bit
Kaleidoscope, something
maybe
like
a bit more
this?
generic. I'd say like ones that maybe don't tie to a specific person, but a lot of them do, and that's handled by our wonderful narrative and quest designers.
Unreal. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, like Death Mask of near my truck.
Near my truck,
like,
yeah.
Yeah. Chat was picking up also on the phonetic of "it's near my truck."
Oh,
Which I was
yeah,
cracking
near
up.
my
It is,
truck.
that is how we.
We've been saying
Near
that
my
a lot.
truck, yes.
leading up to this stream. Awesome. Okay. Oh, Draketh90. Will you consider allowing other boss fights to be customized with affixes like Astaroth? Sounds like a cool way to keep layered bosses dynamic and fresh.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah, we're really excited
No.
about the system with Astaroth where he's going to feel different each time you fight him.
I don't want to
that's
fight a
definitely something
Juriel
that,
with a shield.
We are always looking to imbue
Or
more
like with
replayability into the game
suppressor.
because Diablo
Or
is
with
just,
water,
it,
like,
lives and dies by, like, how much fun it is to go and do stuff over and over.
I would rather
and
pass
so, that's
Tuesday
definitely
first
something that we can
July,
take a look at in the future. And like different mechanics to
Astaroth
ensure that
is a character
fighting
from
layer bosses
Soulcalibur
or
series.
fighting other bosses in the game feel exciting and different each time you go in and fight them. And Astaroth is a great example of that. And we're excited for you to try it out.
Unreal. And our last question comes from either Jajapur or Yayapur or Hahapur, depending on the pronunciation. This one's for you, Charles, and it's less of a question, more of a request, I think.
Okay.
When can we expect more skill-changing uniques like the new Necro one? Give us one for multiple golems with a little smiley face.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I mean, so obviously every season we are making a new unique for every class, and we really try to focus on giving brand new ways of playing or ways to kind of revitalize existing builds. Like obviously golem builds exist, so it is absolutely valid that we could potentially see one in the future that allows you to have additional golems. I can't specifically promise that just yet, but we're working on making brand new cool stuff every season.
Awesome. Sweet. Well, that takes us to the end of the Q&A. Thank you all for your incredible questions, and thank you to the community team for sourcing those. We really appreciate all the things that you want to know about the game. So yeah, and that brings us to the end of the stream. Keep in mind, we do have patch notes dropping following the stream, so check those out for any changes. And we did have the season overview blog launch this past Tuesday. So for all the needs, all the things you want to know, you'll find it there. But also, hopefully you've claimed your Sorcerer staff already. But if you want more Twitch drops, actually, you know what? Before that, we sort of addressed this on the stream. Dan touched on it, but for Season 9, the pet that you'll be able to earn from the season journey, claim Iris if you haven't already, but this is Dante. So if all the keen-eyed viewers, you've probably seen Dante running around, begging for treats. This is what he'll do when you hit the pet emote. So here's Dante. He is a good boy, even though he does look pretty menacing. He'll definitely keep people off your lawn, that's for sure.
Thank you,
But
Shadow.
finishing Chapter 6 of the season journey will earn you Dante. And remember, you don't have to complete all of the tasks in Chapter 6. You just need to complete enough to hit the reward level. So yeah, be sure to go in and claim him. And if you haven't already, be sure to claim Iris for Season 8 Blyle's Return already. Here's our season overview. Take a screenshot of this. This is hosted in our blog. This gives you all the details you need for Season 9. Since the Herodrum gives you a great
I played PTO a bit, yeah.
look at that. So you can definitely check those out.
I made
And
one
if you
video for
enjoyed the
PTO.
Twitch drops on this stream, launching with our season on July 1st all the way through July 19th, you can watch at least 3 hours of any eligible Diablo 4 content creator, and you can grab the Glensoul Arbalest crossbow for the Rogue. And if you want some more details on that, we've got a Twitch Drops blog publishing after the show. But yeah,
That's
3
the
hours,
best thing
with
of the
any
season,
eligible
the
channel
drops. I
in
hope they have the
Diablo
drops for
Diablo 4
every
directory.
class.
You'll be able to grab that sweet, sweet crossbow skin.
Yeah,
so
pretty cool.
buckle up for that. And then we do have a very special delivery because also with July 1st is Charles Dunn's birthday.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So happy birthday to Charles
thank you.
Dunn.
Happy
With the
birthday,
season starting,
birthday
we've got a
song.
very special cake presenter.
Yes, my birthday is July 1st, so
Yeah.
you know we're launching a whole Diablo season just for my birthday.
Yes,
so,
it's all for Charles Dunn.
yeah. Adam
But why
came
he's
right
giving
at
a
the end, and
cake
then Adam
now
popped in, I was
when
like,
it's
yes.
1st July?
There's Adam.
Happy birthday, Last
It
Shadow
wouldn't be a
Rider.
stream without a surprise Adam appearance. Love that. So yeah, so you can celebrate the launch of the stream, and you can celebrate Charles Dunn's, or sorry, the launch of the season and Charles Dunn's birthday, which is fantastic. And then following the stream, if you did have some more questions or you just want some more Diablo 4 content, Aislinn Hall is going to be joining Nacho in the Sanctuary Discord for another edition of Burning
What?
Questions. So Aislinn's doing double duty today. Right after the stream, she's running back to her desk and then jumping in the Sanctuary Discord to answer all those burning questions with Nacho. And we will be rating
Who is
Nacho's stream
Nacho?
following this one, so you can stick around and just check it out here if you'd like that as well.
Yeah.
I do want to give a huge thank you to everyone involved with the stream. Thank you to production for putting everything together. Also, for those of you at home, thank you for being here and joining with us. I can't believe, I think Rich called it out.
Anthony
It's our
Savage.
29th stream for Diablo 4, which is just crazy.
No cake for you,
know,
the
Dan
nerve
sticks
the
around
sock.
3 hours later
No
on
cake.
the East Coast. So
Are you
Dan's
gonna
been
play
staying up
this
late with
season,
us throughout
Anthony,
this
by
week,
the
so,
way?
you all don't get to see just how busy Aislinn, Charles, and Dan all are, and they dedicate a lot of time on their schedule to be here. So we really do appreciate you being here, and thanks for tuning in. So yeah, July 1st, Season 9 Sins of the Harajam is launching. Check out those patch notes following the stream, and we'll see you all in Sanctuary.
Awesome.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks, guys.
See
Bye.
ya.
Well, I was not aware of the Q&A. Is somewhere we're aware of it? Maybe some. Thanks for the 12 months. Anthony, I am now 1 year old. I hope you will be around, would be nice. Anyone has the patch notes? Anyone knew who was Nacho? I am a bit lost. I don't know anyone. Oh, they're gonna release a WoW Burning Crusade, right? When is Burning Crusade? I mean, I should not play Burning Crusade. What is MOP? First that send me the patch note wins. Mumi, were you watching Clair Obscur or not? Anyway, patch note, please. Let's see the drop we have. Watching Clair Obscure, Expedition 33. Week 1. What? Yo, wait. What? Why we only got 1 drops on 1 class? What? Where are the rests? Send me a whisper? Where? Well, with Hydra. Yeah, I played it, Mumi. You missed like a lot of days of stream. That's a shame. Thanks, let's see that. Wait! 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 Why it says week 1? If you write week 1, you must have week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. They must be missing drops, right? What? Hi, Olaris. Thank you so much for your raids. I don't understand the notes. I am a bit lost. Thank you for your raid again, Olaris. I don't know if you play Sorcerer, but season 9 gonna be Hydra stock. The thing with Hydra, my build's gonna be ready probably Monday nights. I mean, it's gonna be ready for the season launch anyway, but not too soon. Like, I can't erase my build right now. Hey, Usox. Den of Bob, you don't even play Bob. Mumi, why do you care? Where are you from? Is that a Slavic community? So, the thing is, Hydra was not working with the amulet, right? On the PTR, the Hydra enchant was not working with the amulets. If Hydra enchant work with the amulets, we can have 3 Hydra. But then what do you put in enchantments? 1 more Hydra is 33% more damage, which is more than 25% burning from firewall or firebolts. La saison, ça va être ok, on va s'amuser 2-3 semaines à mon avis. Je vais jouer Hydra pour commencer, ouais. The season looks like season 8 and season 7 with more nerfs. It's all kind of the same, but we are just weaker. I don't think the new big nightmare escalation is gonna be so, like endgame things. Did you play this season, by the way, Resistance? Season 8? Did you skip it? The Barb, apparently the Barb got nerfed. There is a problem, MD, with Hydra Enchant is Hydra Enchant only has 5 heads, so it doesn't benefit fully from the amulet and the temper. Glob did you use for PTR? I think I use side bending, but we're probably not gonna use it. No, you can have several Hydra enchant, like it's not locked to 2. What does that mean? Ranks increased from 16 to 21? What's that? Oh, magic power? Rob told me Barb got nerfed and it's not strong, but I don't know. I haven't looked at Barb. Seems like it's going to be Hydra season. No, Shatter is dead. I mean, it was... It was expected to be nerfed. But what's that? Ranked increase from 16 to 21? What's that? Time? Yeah, Firestarter seems weak, but they was talking about something about the infusion, but who cares? Anyway. Oh, that's actually nice. Maybe we can use Ice Armor in the HYDRAKUNA general version. That's gonna help most of the people. You broke your mouse? What the fuck? That changes are actually great, but... Right. There is a problem with primordial binding. Primordial binding on Winterglass. How many ranks do you have on primordial binding? Thank you, Rivek. Thank you, Smoke. I mean, for speed, we don't play Hydra. I think we just play Lightning Spear. You play Lightning Spear for speed. I mean, you play Chain Lightning for speed. Yeah, Winterglass has 10. A regular amulet has 7, but Winterglass isn't unique. So, it should be 10. Why would it be 7? It makes no sense. Legendary versus unique. Yeah, but why the new amulet is not the same? Where is my Winterglass? It's +6! How is that +6 and the new amulet is +3? No more bug peel. It's just a matter of time until we find the bug. I'm sure we can find some bugs on Hydra. I'm almost sure we can find bugs on Hydra. That's just gonna take a bit. Anyone wanted to have something? Like boss mat and gear and stuff? If anyone wants something, it's now. While I'm still logged in. Logged on, whatever. Anyway. Salut Sepka. Thank you Gizzy and Riaxino. Look at this, MD. They nerfed the build by a million times, then they buff it by 5 times. What I'm gonna play now or for the season? Lightning Speed is dead, no. Now I don't know. I don't know yet. I don't know if I wanna play Expedition 33 or Elden Ring. Now we can still perma teleport on the sorcerer on probably Chain Lightning, Ball Lightning, Lightning Sphere. We might be even to perma teleport on Hydra with Shaco. Yo! We didn't find that! I mean, I don't play Inferno, so... Everybody's going Hydra is sick for me. I'm happy about that. I called it! I predicted that, guys! I literally said they're gonna nerf the pit scaling. I said it, like literally I was almost sure they was gonna do it because people would complain about Glyph 200 or whatever. People struggle to do everything. You know what? They are nerfing everything but making the pit easier. What if they just buff everything and keep the pit like it was? Same results. People still do pits 150, people happy because bigger number. Too much thinking? Well, guys, question of the day, what do we eat? Chicken? We always eat chicken. We can eat beef if you want. Barbecue? I don't have a barbecue. I'm living in a little cage. Well, if you spam Hydra, I think it doesn't attack fast, but if you just cast it from time to time, it attacks instantly, so... Moo may wanna play Night Rain? Feliz cumpleaños! Thank you, Osadruzeria. So you are just going back to school, Mumi? You're gonna be a big engineer, then you can sub T3. There is a new boss. Mumi missed the piggy boss. That's actually very nice. I like it. It's mean you can almost cast ice armor like almost every second. You literally can't die. You are like immortal. Unless they can break your shield, but I don't think so. It's gonna be Ice Shard build. Ice Shard Helm for Hydra because you don't need a lot of cooldown that way. You only need the cooldown on Inferno. I wonder if we probably keep Starless Sky. I forgot what I did on the PTR. What did I do on the PTR? Let me check my video. No flicker step. I'm not okay with flicker step. Oh, I actually use flicker step, what a shame. I don't think flicker step is good. Ah yeah, we need flicker step, never mind. We don't have enough cooldown. That kinda sucks to use flicker step. But we have to use teleport enchants. Orange Herald is probably not enough. Il faut des bots rares pour perma-TP, mais dans ce build on va jamais perma-TP à mon avis. We don't use enlightenments anymore on the burning build. Rax is crying, True Seeker? Why? I mean, we don't get like major big changes. I can get his point, but I think season 9 is gonna be fun for like 2 weeks for us. They didn't like make meaningful changes. Like people are expecting them to make meaningful change, but that's probably gonna happen for the next DLC, you know? Yeah, I agree, but you know, in life you don't always get what you want. Okay, we're gonna eat Chipotle. Anyone here know what is Chipotle? I don't care about the lightning spear enough. I think they should just not have deleted the build for the people who likes to play it. I will just play Hydra. Not a problem for me. Not a problem at all, to be honest. I really don't care. It's just a shame. They should, you know, fix and nerf, but not like destroy the build. So I am trying to think about a Hydra build that can speed farm as fast as Splintering Energy, and I was thinking of removing Eyeshot Helm to use Shaco. Then you swap Azurath because you already have your Chain Lightning Pants. So you're gonna play Azurath and maybe on the off hands getting Splintering Energy. But I don't think using Splintering Energy is gonna be enough. It's probably gonna be Chain Lightning then, because Splintering Energy requires too much efforts. And we're gonna keep Hydra Amulets because I don't want people to make too many changes. So you just need Offhand and Azurath, I guess. Then you can keep Hydra for the boss, I guess. Like at the pit boss, you're gonna cast your true Hydra to deal damage. Then you're gonna speed the rest of the pits probably. I need to think of the most optimal speed farming way without changing too many stuffs. The tree drop, you had to watch the campfire. I think if you miss the campfire, it's too late now. The Paragon is not a big problem because you have the armory to switch Paragon. Sorcerer looks to be one of the strongest class for next season. I hope it's gonna be top 1. Hydra looks very promising. Hydra damage got nerfed where? They just remove one head. I mean one Hydra. Shatter is gone. Yeah, that got nerfed. But we got buffs from the amulets. Yeah, I was thinking about Diablo that they should make something like PvE2, which is like, let's say you collect the Obdu seeds, you don't backtrack, and at the end of the Nightmare Dungeon, it just gives you the pill of the total of the site, so you don't have to backtrack. You can just do your Nightmare Dungeon, and at the end, it gives you the total. So next season is gonna be Hydra, 99% sure. I don't see anything stronger than Hydra, but Hydra gonna be played with eye shards. So you can pretend it's an eye shard build. As Wrath, we use Enlightenment, I think. If you do that Shen Lightning thing, it's gonna be probably Enlightenment. Why Esu? Esu's Ferocity is kinda useless. Hello Reborn Sorcery? You don't sack Enlightenment when you speed farm. You don't pay attention to that. You just like play. You don't really pay attention to this. C'est quoi les deux classes à jouer? C'est Sorcier et Spiritborn? The skin? I haven't looked at the skin, I don't know. I don't care about the skin most of the time. Like, I almost never care about the skin. Hey Bloodfall, thank you so much for your support. I hope you have a good stream. You can see my house if you zoom. If you zoom a lot, you will eventually see my house. MD, we need to figure out the ICG on Hydra. Because maybe we are able to cast one Hydra, do one teleport, cast the second Hydra, then you teleport again and cast the new Hydra that's gonna delete the first Hydra and still gonna attack instantly, maybe? So we would need to be able to teleport and attack once. In the perfect world, you are able to cast one Hydra and teleport, but that's very hard to achieve because you don't have the evade on amulets. You need to have like almost perfect boots, or maybe with flicker step and perfect CDR. But that way would solve the speed farming stuff. I would still need to make a version with Azurath though. You don't need to use a macro because you hold down your Hydra and you just spam teleports. You just have to hold down a Hydra and spam teleport, which is like not hard to do. Hello, Russian friend, I think, on YouTube? I can't read. Hey, holy dog, thank you so much for your prime. This is the new Bloodwave dot from Lord Sora. I don't think I will make it. I will just update like the regular Bloodwave Overpower one, even though it got nerf. A rock build? It's not a rock build, it's a Spiritborn build. Yo, Boomer Dad, are you still here? Is Rob happy now? 107, that's very high, but I wonder if they nerf it. Oh wow. Thank you so much, Nacho Chips, for that big raid. I think Diablo just raided you before. Thanks for the raid. How was the interview on Sanctuary? It's already over. Where is it? Overpower. I think that destroyed Overpower. I don't know if it's a good thing, to be honest. Like, the meta change are okay. I think it's great to have like new build and meta change every season, but that should be done by buffing other build and not destroying the actual build. Like, they destroyed Overpower, they destroyed Lightning Spear because people were complaining about it, but next season people are gonna complain about something else. They're gonna complain about Hydra, or they're gonna complain about like basic seal too strong. Like, they're just gonna find a new way to complain. Hey, why Bubaka? Thank you so much for the raid, back to back with Nacho Chips. I believe Aislinn is great. I hope you had a great interview, and thank you again for your raid. Oh, that's the quotes from League of Legends, but thanks, that's super nice. Thanks, Adrenaline's me. Thank you so much, Waibubaka, for the recommendation. Always. Thank you for your support and your kindness. Thanks, I welcome to my Slavic community. Welcome to the people coming from Nachos. We were just looking at the changes that they made on Hydra, and I was looking a little bit on the Necromancer stuff also. So it's gonna be Hydra season, people. I hope you like Hydra, because next season we go all in on Hydra. That's why I was thinking of using Splintering Energy, because you already have Primordial Binding on the amulets. But the thing is, you also have the pens. You have the Chain Lightning pens already. You might have to change to Tybot's Will, maybe? Necro? Nah, it's not gonna be Necro. I mean, Blood Wave is still very strong, so... Yeah, so it's probably gonna be Azurav. It's a lot of anti-synergy. Esadora's amulet? No way. Esadora's never gonna be the meta. Like, I'm almost sure they're never gonna make Esadora's meta. En gros, ils ont à peu près tout nerfé, ils ont changé des petits trucs sur un peu toutes les classes. Mais globalement, c'est que des nerfs. Sur la sorcier, on a pris des nerfs encore, mais ils ont changé des petits trucs pas mal sur Hydra, donc à voir. En vrai, on n'a pas grand chose là, on a le patch notes. Je peux vous poster le patch notes si vous voulez. Spiritborn. Spiritborn got nerfed, no? I heard that Spiritborn got double the nerf. There was double zipping, but it got double the nerf. So I don't know. You cannot crit and overpower with a firebolt, so no. Yeah, I think it's only burn. Burn should be 3 tier higher than crit, according to Northware. Like roughly 3 pits more than crit 1, so it's still kinda like... It's not like too big of a difference, you know? Why just like the burn is just scaling better? It just has better scaling, I think, and you don't need to search for crits. Like every stat that you get on crit, you also get the temper. Because otherwise you have to master a crit, you have to looking for crit everywhere. But we're using Eyeshot Helm for the calculation. We're not using Shaco or Air of Perdition. We are doing the calc on Eyeshot Helm for both of the build. I'll be back in a second, I need to get my food, then we're gonna think a bit about that. Now getting 100% crit is very hard now, like we don't have seasonal power anymore to do that. Where do you get the 50% crit missing? You need to use Air of Perdition. No, Eyeshot Helm is giving you like 100% more damage, it gives you cooldown, it gives you ints. What else? Attack speeds? Eren. I didn't like the ending of Attack on Titan. Levi need a nerf. Cold Blizzards! Blizzard can nerf Levi. They would destroy him. Ah, just kidding, but... So, what do you guys want to see? You want to see Elden Ring or Clair Obscur? One finger. It's gonna be two-hander, almost sure. Using Rune for cooldown means 15% less damage. I don't think regular boots are 15% more damage. Maybe. So it's gonna be int cooldown maximum resource. The German buttheads. It's Beavis and Butthead. People call Rob and I Beavis and Butthead for fun. I think it's good that they are swapping the meta. But they should not destroy the old meta, they should just nerf it. Or like raising other build, not destroying old meta. Because now people are just gonna complain about the new meta, you know? Hello, Numi. So, we play Night Rain or we play Clair Obscur? What do you guys prefer? When is the next PvE2 League, Boomer Dad? There is Gamescom on August. Anyone here going to Gamescom? First July, better be ready. For the first time, very small, like 2%. We could do the one-hander. Make it easier for people.
More loyal friends you'll not find.
Well, 5% it's still a bit. Two-hander is still winning, no? Maybe we go two-hander and pit pushing, like one-hander on a regular build and two-hander up in pit pushing. Thank you, Guilios. Mage is roughly the same. Nothing. We got some nerf, we got some buff, so in the end it's roughly the same. I would say we are slightly nerfed because of serpenting. Yeah, probably around 105 or 10. Thanks, Numi. Redo your build from picture? You have to redo it anyway on the new season. 1st July for new season. I don't even know if I can still play this game. I'm totally lost. We're gonna say goodbye to Lightning Spear one last time. Is she gone or you were gone? Why? Maybe you could ask her first. How much does she earn a year? I've never been asked that. People don't care about how much I earn. I just say I'm unemployed, then they leave.
Well.
14 minutes, yeah. I don't think many people want to do that. I don't even know if I can still play the game. I haven't played for so long. The red flag? I am the red flag. Did you like the patch? Yeah, it was so. The patch was very so to me. The question is how Rob likes the patch. Anyone tell me how Rob's like the patch? I think he's not very happy because they nerfed the Barb, right? So people don't want to decide. So it's gonna be Elden Ring probably with Mumi and Pigeon if people don't wanna decide. I wanted to finish Clair Obscur sure because I have the end game of Clair Obscur to finish. C'est pas mal de nerfs ouais KitKat. What? Rob is not happy? Are you? Rob is the most positive streamer on here. He cannot be not happy. If Rob is not happy, it's the end. It's over. Rob unhappy about the game, that's game over. Thanks, Mac Hayes. Thanks for the super chat on YouTube from David Seller. Yeah, Rob gonna play Spiritborn, he told me, if Barb gets too many nerfs, which seems to be the case. Rob gonna be Spiritborn next season. Rob is always happy. He's a very positive guy.
I need time. I'm out of
Well, next season you won't play that because it's ripped. Next season you're gonna play this.
I need time.
That's what you're gonna play next season. Spamming this. Oh, Hydra. Welcome to the new meta, guys. I hope you like the new meta. The build for season 9 is gonna be ready before the launch, but not too soon. I am usually very slow to make build. But when the season starts, it's gonna be ready, so you will have access to the build before you play, so you don't need like to prepare or anything.
I lack the needed mana. I'm not ready yet.
Chain Lightning has a chance to speed farm, but there's also enough enlightenment. I wonder if Elemental Surge and Azure Wrath are still bugged. But yeah, we might play Chain Lightning to speed farm, but means that you have to master work and play 2 builds. Season 9 looks like the same, to be honest. I don't think they make meaningful changes about the dungeon escalation. Like, we cannot make it harder, right? You guys better say bye-bye to this build. It's ripped. Je crois que je t'ai répondu qu'il y a eu pas mal de nerfs, oui. Thank you, Andre. Spasiba. I mean, we can do that with Chain Lightning. It's not. We can do that with Chain Lightning at lower tier. Moi je pense que c'est négatif, j'aime pas les nerfs. Je pense qu'ils devraient buffer les trucs pour être un peu plus fort que la méta et pas nerfer la méta actuelle. Juste la changer en buffant. Yeah, I remember PoE2 did that. And people complained the shit out of it. Like the notation on Steam, it went from very positive to very bad. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're preparing for the next DLC. Preparing like the real endgame content, so I don't know. Blizzard have the money for sure, but they might not spend that much money on D4. I don't know. I think it's for the whole pits. Tu sais, je joue à LoL de temps en temps Kit Kat. I mean, there are no ARPG that have endgame content right now. I don't see any ARPG with Minikun endgame content that make people play more than 2 weeks.
I need time. I'm out of mana.
C'est un peu moins de 50% normalement de 2 tiers. Mais normalement ils ont nerfé ça. Pit Sculling got nerfed again by the way. That was very shadow. Very little in the patch notes somewhere they nerfed the pit scaling again. Je vais jouer sorcière Hydra moi ouais.
I need time.
Well, I don't even think people play PoE 1 for more than 2 weeks. Maybe a month at maximum. I don't see people playing any ARPG season or league for more than a month.
I need time.
You are the hater here. I don't know, it takes time to make emotes. I need to like get the commission and stuff. It's too much work. It took like 2 months to get those bears emotes.
I need time. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet.
We can also play League of Legends. Peut-être que les 30 ça devrait être double damage et pas double cast, comme c'est limité avant. Season 9 is in 3 days. 1st of July. It looks like Season 7 and Season 8 with less power. Hello, Koala. Rien. Là, le camp de feu vient de se finir. On a regardé le patchline vite fait. Là, je dois décaler vite fait. On va sûrement jouer à autre chose bientôt.
Anything could be lurking here.
Well, let's say Season 9 looks like Season 8. Season 7 was a bit different because we could do pits 150, which was a lot more funnier in my opinion. I can't see the difference. Moi j'ai mis ça en graphique, ça a aidé un peu. Avant j'avais Noon, là je passais sur AMD FSR2, ça a l'air un peu mieux. It didn't even reach Paragon 300 this season. Thank you for coming in, Cotton. I will probably see you on launch, season launch, or if I stream before, maybe. Thanks for coming in. So what game do you want to see? It's either Elden Ring, Or Expedition 33. Or League of Legends, but I don't know if I wanna play League of Legends. Pas de sujet à toi, Rafto. On va travailler sur ça bientôt ce week-end, je pense, pour les builds de mardi. Okay, Pigeon Mumi, are you up? Alright, let's switch
Not while I'm
the game. The knight is not that good. You just don't have to die, Mumi, and stay behind. Should be fine. FPS arc? I'm not good enough in FPS. I played a bit of Warzone. Warzone didn't work very well. I'm gonna end the stream on YouTube though. The campfire is over. Thanks for watching on YouTube. I will try to stream the launch of Diablo on YouTube. I don't know if I will be able to. Black Ops 7. I play Black Ops 6. But I mostly like Warzone. Go up the road? Why? You have to see lightning rabbits? The zombie mode was kind of fun, yeah. I haven't played Apex a lot, so COD is okay to me. We can do one without Mumi for the moment, I guess, with a random. That one is actually very good. Maybe I should play this one. Crystallian Sorcery. Oh, let's play this one. Yeah, it's a bit annoying that in Call of Duty, every time I wanna get back into Warzone, there is a new meta and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna level up the weapon again. Yeah, Corbish, I understand. Most of the time when they nerf something, they barely give compensation. They just nerf, you know, they don't give compensation. And the season after, or the 2 seasons after, they give compensation, but you nerf something like by 1,000 times, then you buff it by 2 times. So I don't really understand, but... Our ally doesn't look very smart. Moi j'aime bien Warzone perso, les gens ils aiment pas, mais moi j'aime bien moi. I like Warzone, like many people don't like it, but I liked it, I don't know. But I don't play a lot of FPS, so... What is that idiot doing? I think they're gonna pull the boss here. Holy shit. Oh, this random ally is doing literally nothing. I don't think he's doing... Oh, he's not doing any damage, just he keep dying. Well, I can't res him. I'm being like... If he didn't just restart, I don't wanna play with him. We're not gonna win this. Especially with someone like him. He keep dying for nothing, he's the tank.